Hello, welcome to OCC Math Seminar Sessions. Today, learning objectives are multiplying integers and dividing integers. So the first objective is multiplying integers. We know that multiplication is a mathematical shorthand for repeat addition, right? So without further ado, I'm going to introduce the rule when you multiply two integers. For multiplication of two side numbers, when we have the same size, then the product is positive. If the size of two numbers are different, then the product is negative. So I put together in the charts below, if we multiply two positive numbers, for example, if I multiply two positive numbers, then the products will be positive, right? For example, 7 times 4 is positive 28. If you multiply two negative numbers, then the product is also positive. For example, negative 8 times negative 6 will be positive 48. If we multiply a positive number and a negative number, then the product is negative. For example, 7 times negative 9 is negative 63. And if I multiply a negative number to a positive number, the product is also negative. For example, negative 5 times 10 is negative 50. Right, so the bottom line is that same size, the product is positive, different size, the product is negative. Let's take a look at some example here. I have negative 9 times 3. The two numbers have different size, so the products will be negative, right? So negative 9 times 3 is negative 27. Negative 2 times negative 5, the two numbers have the same size, right? Even though they're positive, they're negatives, but as long as they have the same size, then the products will be positive. So negative 2 times negative 5 is positive 10. 4 times negative 8. Two numbers have different size, product is negative. 4 times negative 8 is negative 32. And 7 times 6, they both have positive size. The product is 42. Please pause the video and try some for yourself. Okay. All right, I have negative 6 times positive 8. The two numbers, let me write down here. Problem A, negative 6 times positive 8. The two numbers have different size, so the product is going to be negative. So 6 times 8 is 48, so that'll be negative 48. B, I have negative 4 times negative 7. The two numbers have the same size, so the product will be positive, will be positive 28. And last, I have C. Oops, we have D. C is 9 times negative 7. Two numbers that have different sign. Product is negative. 9 times negative 7 is negative 63. And D, 5 times positive 12. Two positive number, the product is positive. 5 times 12 is 60, positive 60. Now, when we multiply a number by 1, the result is the same number, right? So for example, you have 1 times 3 is equal 3, 1 times 10 still 10, 1 times 100 is still 100. But what happened when we multiply a number by negative 1? So let's multiply a positive number, then a negative number by negative 1 to see what we get. So for the first example, I have negative 1 times positive 4. Well, the two numbers have a different size, so the product will be negative, right? So it'll be negative 4. So negative 4, we say negative 4 is the opposite of 4. Let me highlight something here. And the second case, I'm multiplying two negative numbers together. Negative 1 times negative 3. These two numbers have the same sign, so the product will be positive 3, right? And we say that 3 is the opposite of negative 3. Why? Because we start out with what? We start out with negative 3, right? We end up, and when we multiply with negative 1, we end up with what? Positive 3. So we say 3 is the opposite of negative 3. Same thing over the left here. We start out with what? We start out with 4. We start out with positive 4, and then we multiply with 4 to a negative 1. And then we got negative 4. Right? So we say negative 4 is the opposite of 4. So conclusion here is that each time we multiply a number by a negative 1, we get is opposite. Right? So the definition is that negative 1 times a, where a is just an integer or just a real number, then is equal to negative a. Right? So a lot of time people don't write negative 1 in front of a number. They just say a negative number, for example, like negative 9, whereas actually mathematically written is negative 1 times 9. Right? But a lot of time we just don't write that negative 1 in front. We just wrote written as negative 9. For example, I have negative 1 times 7. So that'll be negative 7. Right? The two numbers have opposite side. So the product is negative. And 1 times any number will be the result will be that same number. Right? It's just opposite side. Negative 1 times negative 11, same size, product is positive. Right? So it'll be positive 11. Let's pause the video and try some more problem here. Okay. Negative 1 times positive 9, that's negative 9. Okay. And negative 1 times negative 17, that's positive 17. I hope you get the same result as I do. For the second objective, we're going to dive into dividing integers. So we know that division is the inverse operation of multiplication. So for example, if I have 15 divided by 3, if I have 15 divided by 3 is equal to 5. Why? Because if I take 5 times 3, it gives me back 15. Right? It gives me back 15. So let's take a look at some example here when we multiply integers to figure out the rule for dividing integers. I have 5 times 3 is equal, let me highlight what I'm talking in here. I have 5 times 3 equal 15. So 15 divided by 3 is equal 5. Right? I have negative 5 times negative 3 is positive 15. Remember, two same size number, the product is be positive. Negative 5 times negative 3 is 15. So that means if I take 15 divided by negative 3, I get negative 5. So same thing over here. If I have negative 5 times 3 is equal to negative 15. So that negative 15 divided by 3 is equal to negative 5. And lastly, if I take 5 times negative 3 is equal to negative 15. So that means negative 15 divided by negative 3 get me positive 5. So from those examples, I hope you can draw out some kind of rule for yourself, right? So it turned out that division follow the same rules as multiplication. For division of two side number, when the sides are the same, the quotient is positive. When the sides are the same, so same thing with multiplication. When the sides are the same, the product is positive. Here, the quotient is positive. If the sides are different, then the quotient is negative. Okay, so here is the chart that tell you what happened when you multiply two side numbers. I'm sorry, when you divide two side number. If positive number divided by a negative number, if the same side, two positive number divided by each other, then the result of the quotient is positive. If two negative numbers, let me highlight it here, two positive, the quotient is positive. If two negative numbers is the result is still positive, right? Because it's the same side. If a different side, if you have a positive number divided by a negative number, then the result will be negative. If you take a negative number divided by a positive number, then the result is also negative. So the rule here is pretty much the same like we did in multiplication. So for example, I have negative 27 divided by 3. Notice that the two numbers are different sign, right? So the result will be negative, right? So 27 divided by 3 is 9. So that means it will be negative 9. Should have the equal size here. Negative 100 divided by negative 4. Two numbers are the same size, so the result will be positive, right? 100 divided by 4 is 25. So, or negative 100 divided by negative 4 is positive 25. Let's try some for yourself. Negative 42 divided by 6. Two numbers have a different sign. Result is negative. So negative 42 divided by 6 will be equal to negative 7. And negative 117 divided by negative 3. Same side, the result will be positive. Right? So this will be equal to, let's see, 11 divided by 3 is 3, 27 over 3 is 9. So positive 39. Right? If you don't have that on top of your head or you cannot do it within your head, you can use a calculator. Okay. So those are basic rules when you're dividing or multiplying integers. Thank you for watching.